Let's start with the crazy. How about that, guys? Let's jump right into it, head first into the crazy. Guys, I think there is a golden opportunity just sitting on the table, waiting to be snatched up. And I think the two companies that should jump on this, and I say two for a reason, the golden opportunity sitting there, I think that Sega and Nintendo should jump all over this.
Oh, welcome to the Matcave, where the old games never fade. Stack of gray cards, glowing CRT. Welcome to the Matcave, heartbeats in 8-bit waves. You can plug in, you can still play free. Keep the pixels bright, pass the pad tonight. Every level cleared keeps the legends alive. If the future's loud, let the past still play. Safe, I'll stay in the Mad in the Mad Welcome to the Mad Cave.
We know that their main competitors, which are Microsoft and Sony, Microsoft, of course, handling Xbox, they are pushing heavy into an all digital future. That's the direction they want, not just gaming to go in, they want media to go in that direction. Now, Sony right now has been the one that's been on the hot plate. They are the one that's in the news all over the place. They are getting the most attention about this because of their announcement that come January of 2028, they are going to discontinue all physical games, with the all digital future being the direction that the gaming industry seems to be pushing in, and that Sony is a big part of that. There is a golden opportunity on the table. And I believe that Nintendo and Sega, that's right, Sega, can jump all over this and go full tilt into embracing physical media. And to the point where I think this would be an amazing time for Sega, if they're not already, to develop a console and get back in the game. Sega, for now decades at this point, has been all software. They've been just distributing their software to pretty much everybody. That's why you see Sega titles on every platform. And back in the day when they were defeated in the console war, it was pretty much, I would say, Sony, funny enough, with the PlayStation, is probably the one that put the final nail in the coffin for Sega, and it killed the Dreamcast. And then that was it. Dreamcast was the final console from Sega. And then from that point forward, they were all software based. And we saw Sonic teaming up with Mario, something that still blows my mind to this day. And all of these Sega titles landing on things like the Xbox and the PlayStation and on Nintendo and on PC. And it's just all over the place. Sega all over everywhere. And you know what? In all honesty, at that time, that was the right decision. I think that was the right decision in my opinion, because it kept Sega alive. It kept the brand alive. It kept them relevant. But now the landscape has changed. The world of the gaming industry is completely different than it was 20 years ago. That's why I said, and I keep saying it, there is a golden opportunity on the table. Nintendo's already in the game, obviously. They just came out with the Switch 2, and they still have cartridges. Now, they do have the digital key cards as well, which, say what you will about those, at least it's something that can still be distributed and sold. It could be resold. You can share it with friends. You can trade, you can borrow things, you can, all that stuff. It's still on the side of physical media. But at the same time, they are still putting out games on cartridges where the whole game is there on the cartridge, the physical media game. This is an opportunity, though, for Sega to jump in there as well. Make a new console. And at that point, if they make a new console, I would pretty much bet it would be disc-based, right? But imagine this. Follow me down the rabbit hole here a little bit. This is what I'm going to share with you guys where my mind is going. You guys already mentioned grab the tinfoil hat. This may all sound incredibly crazy, but follow me here. If Sega was to make a console, not only make it disc-based for new titles, but also have the discs there for compilations to bring back old Sega titles, right? And maybe throw a cartridge slot in there. Why not? Why not have the disc drive and a cartridge slot where those of us that still have the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive cartridges, we can play the games that we already have. Heck, adapt that cartridge drive to handle the 32X as well. Let's do it. Let's go full tilt. Let's get crazy. Basically an all-in-one, backwards compatible, and then forward pushing new game console brought to us by Sega. Then, alongside with that, Nintendo to continue to embrace physical media, whether it's on cartridges or if they eventually come out with a console that's disc-based. Either way, still embrace physical media. Meanwhile, Sony and Microsoft are going towards their all-digital future. Let them keep going in that direction. But you know what happens then? The gaming industry, which really relies on us, the gamers, the players, the fan base, to keep it alive, the bulk of the fan base is going to go with the physical media. And then what happens? Here's the crazy part. We get the return of the console war. I'm talking about the originals. Hell, you know what? Throw Atari in there too. They've already re-released the 2600, which also now plays 7800 cartridges. It's amazing. I wish I had it. It's a console that I would love to add to the collection, but I don't have it yet. But hey, they could jump in the game if they want to as well. But you know what? The two heavy hitters back in the day were Nintendo and Sega, especially during the 16-bit era. And if we were to bring back the original console war in its new form, Sony and Microsoft, Xbox, they're going to become the afterthoughts. They're the ones that will then have to try to catch up. Let's bring the two titans back, Nintendo and Sega. They were the kings of the gaming industry in the 80s, the 90s, and into the early 2000s. This was their battlefield. This is what they created. Everything we have now is because Sega and Nintendo paved the way for it. And if they were to come back and just completely grab the bull by the horns and take the gaming industry back, the players, the fans, we will follow them gladly. Just imagine, if you will. And this is, look, again, these are the crazy thoughts running through my head. Imagine Nintendo doing their thing. We've got the Switch, we've got the Nintendo Switch 2, and then whatever they're cooking up for the next generation after that, keep going with physical media, whether it's cartridges or discs, and then all of a sudden, you got Sega coming in with a brand new console. Hell, call it the Dreamcast 2. Could you imagine how many people would lose their minds across the world if Sega announced the Dreamcast 2 to then go head-to-head with the Switch 2? Could you imagine how many minds would be blown if that happened? And then take that opportunity, come out of nowhere, coming out of the shadows, Sega, and all you see through the fog, through the mist, you see some of that smoke just kind of circling. Why is the fog? Why is the mist circling? Firing out of the mist, firing out of the fog is Sonic the Hedgehog, leading the way for Sega's return into the console war. Console War 2, whatever we want to call it. And they make a huge comeback. Make it disc-based so they can fit all the data on for their new titles, whether it's remakes of original IPs or brand new IPs coming out of there. Make them first party. and then also have your compilations and bringing back the classics and providing a way to play them, whether it's in a compilation mega disc or something like that, or have, like I said before, a cartridge slot so that those of us that do have the original hardware can move over and take our original cartridge and pop it right into that brand new console and play it. This would flip the entire gaming industry on its head. Like, it just, everyone would be blown away, and it would be the comeback of the century. It would just be unbelievable. And I've been thinking about this ever since the big announcement from Sony. I've been just running this through my head of how this could go down. And I keep coming back to the fact that there is this golden opportunity just sitting there. And it's just a question of which company is going to be brave enough to grab it first. Nintendo already has the head start. At this point, in my opinion, Xbox and Sony, they've already committed to going all digital. And I don't think there's anything that's going to stop them. Realistically, I don't think anything's going to stop them. But the potential here, you guys could tell me I am full of baloney. You could tell me I'm out of my mind. It's all pipe dreams. It would never happen. But if you really stop and think about it, the possibility, the potential for that to happen is very real. And for all we know, Sega might already be cooking. I've seen like posts here and there over the last couple of years, in all honesty, but more so lately. Little rumors, little things, concept art of what a new Sega console could look like. Little rumors of like, and they end up being like, you know, kind of fake articles and stuff like that, right? But that just tells me the idea is there. And it's a thought on our minds. And for those of us like in my age group, you know, I'm about to be 44, you know, I'm an 80s baby. I grew up with this stuff. There's such a player base still existing that if these companies took the opportunity, the money would be there. Because look, realistically as well, at the end of the day, this all comes down to money, right? These are companies, these are businesses, right? They're in it to make money. They need to make a profit. The other side of it is that the people that are making these games, making the hardware and stuff, there's that passion. The people, the true developers and everything, these people are there because they love it. It's their passion. It's what they strive to do. And it makes them so happy to be able to produce a game, to produce a console and get it out there to players to show them what they've created. And that's something that's always going to be in place, no matter how much greed goes into these companies. But once a company gets the trust, well, I should say once they earn the trust of the players, the fans, the consumers, that's what we are. We're all consumers, right? In one way or another, we consume. This is just what happens in the world. It's human nature. Once they earn our trust, then it's on them to keep it as well, right? They got to do right by the players. But we also have to understand as consumers that they are a business. So there's going to be give and take. There has to be a bit of a balance. But if they accomplish this, imagine the possibilities. Thank you so much for watching that video. Be sure to click that like button and stick around for more content like this right here.